Everyone, Kevin here once again with my 1, 2, 3 cents, and today's topic is adding a little heart to the tag team division, the Hart Dynasty, that is. I think it's time to reunite David Hart Smith and Tyson Kidd, the former WWE Tag Team Champions. These two need to be together. They worked well together as a tag team, and let's face it, the tag team division in WWE is on life support, and that's being kind of complimentary, I think. The two of them, since splitting up, have really done nothing. David Hart Smith has jobbed a few times and then disappeared from TV, basically. I couldn't even tell you the last time we saw him. It might have been the night that he wrestled Tyson Kidd when he had Jackson Andrew in his corner, or Jackson Andrews. I'm not sure what his name was. But anyway, Tyson Kidd even kind of not doing very well either. Got up in Daniel Bryan's face and challenged him and had the bodyguard with him, Jackson Andrews, and both of them were decimated basically by Mark Henry on Raw a few weeks ago, and soon the bodyguard disappeared and Tyson was just kind of floundering in a couple of tag team matches, and then in singles competition he wrestled to try to qualify for the Elimination Chamber the other night and came up short in that bid as well. So I think by putting these two back together would only help their careers. I also think it would help the tag team division. Right now you have Santino and Kozlov, who are the tag team champions, of course. Then if you count Husky Harris and Michael McGillicuddy from the Nexus on Raw, and then Justin Gabriel and Heath Slater, members of the core over on SmackDown, and then you throw the Usos in there, who were basically jobbers in the tag team division. And then if Mark Henry happens to have a partner, he's had several partners in the last 18 months or so, from MVP to Evan Bourne to Yoshitatsu to the Great Khali last week, but that ended in a dance-off, so I don't know if they're trying to develop a team there or not. But I say reunite the Hart Dynasty, for starters, and give them a manager. Make them a heel tag team. I think they could really pull off the heel thing. They just need a little more guidance and a little more nurturing. And I don't think Bret Hart is the person to be that manager for them. I know a lot of people would probably pop for that, but I don't know. While they need to carry that Hart Dynasty name to kind of help them, I also think it could hurt them as well, and I hope that makes sense. And I don't think Natalya needs to be brought back into the mix, at least as their manager. She is well enough on her own as a diva and a competitor that she really doesn't need to be somebody's second. She is definitely someone that needs to be pushed and flourish in the women's division, the Divas division. So I wouldn't bring her back in as a manager. Now, maybe creating a Hart Dynasty faction similar to the Hart Foundation back in 1996 and 97, I believe it was. I could see that, adding her to that. But a good heel manager, and we really, in my opinion, as well as reinventing the tag team division, I do think we also need to go back to those days where we had managers. They were great mouthpieces. Nowadays, it's kind of non-existent. We have the divas out there in the corners of some of these guys, like Maurice with Ted DiBiase, and Tamina with the Usos, and now she is, of course, with Santino and Kozlov. So I think throwing some managers into the mix, Matt Stryker, I think, would be a good manager-type person in the business. He is no longer, at least it appears, is no longer on SmackDown as an announcer now that Booker T is back. So I'd like to see them use Matt Stryker in some way as a manager, and I'm not necessarily suggesting that he be the Hart Dynasty manager, but I do think somebody like Stryker, with his ability to talk, would definitely help the product in terms of giving it kind of that old school feel. I know we're going back to that PG look with WWE, and I think bringing back those managers and bringing back the tag teams could definitely help, because you have so many singles guys now competing for a spot, and they're getting lost in the shuffle. And while I'm on the topic of that, I'm also going to throw Ted DiBiase and Cody Rhodes into that mix. I do believe that since the breakup of Legacy and splitting up Priceless, they've both kind of floundered too. Cody's had a little bit of success with the dashing gimmick, but you know, Ted, as the $1 Million Man, second coming of that, just is not working at all. Has not worked for him at all. and I think it's time for him to move to SmackDown, team up with Cody, and I really think that they would be a great tag team once again. They were the champions, of course, at one point, and really worked well together, and I think that the WWE needs to go back to some of those original tag teams that they had, the Dynasty or the Hart Dynasty, and of course Priceless. And then if you have the teams from Core and Nexus, the Usos, Santino and Kozlov, that's a starting point. That's a foundation, no pun intended, to start building a tag team division once again. If you look back 25 years ago to that first Survivor Series back in 1987, you had 10 teams competing in that elimination match. 10 tag teams. You know, right now you are lucky to have 4 or 5. So we need to reestablish the tag team division, bring back some managers to be the mouthpieces, because I know some of these guys are green on the mic, and it really shows. And if you want to get them over, go back to that original formula of having a manager, not just a pretty-faced diva that's there to kind of show her stuff off. We need some guys in there that know the product, have been around a while. Matt Stryker has done that. He managed Viscera there for a while, or Big Daddy V, I guess is what he was going by back then. So I'd like to see a reinvention of the tag team division and let these teams work, let them gel, give them time, and don't just split them up to split them up. You know, there was no real reason to break up the Hart Dynasty in the first place and have them feud and then take both of them essentially off television. They are decent workers, they're good workers. Tyson Kidd is a great worker, I think. David Hart Smith is coming into his own. You know, and in a future post, I'm going to talk about comparing these second and third generation stars to their famous fathers and grandfathers, and why that may or may not help or hinder their performance in the ring as future superstars. That's my 1, 2, 3 cents. Of course, I want to hear from you as well, so please comment, subscribe, weigh in, and make your 1, 2, 3 cents known as well. Thanks for watching.